Hey, how's it going? Hope it's going well for you. Wanted to talk about illegal immigrants, Texas politicians in general. And this is because of Tim Pool. He's got his Timcast going, it looks like, timcast.com. I'm pretty sure it's been going on for a while, but this is the first time I've taken a look at it. And there were some things that came to my attention. The first one was actually this video, and I'll have a link in the description below for this. The title of his video is Biden Admits to Plan to Ban... No, wrong one. Called Biden Shows CBP Escort Illegal Immigrants Through Border. Democrat Policies Lead to COVID Lockdown. And here they are. This is supposedly footage from one of the local news channels in the area. And they are loading up these illegal immigrants into the U.S. I do not understand this at all. I do not understand this at all. I mean, I do. But the understanding is nefarious and just a bunch of BS. How is it they're able to get away with this? You know, the level of corruption that's got to go on in order for this to happen. The lack of understanding of their actions to all of this. It's just ridiculous. I'm tired. I am so tired of lies and being manipulated and people just ignoring everything and just doing what they want. There's not enough accountability or responsibility for people's actions. And it's all over the place. All these snowflakes and privileged people who just want to do whatever. And if you too are fed up with it, then like, subscribe, become a member. I've got Patreon and Subscribestar. I want to know, why is someone not arresting these officers? What they're doing is illegal. Illegal immigrants cannot enter the U.S. So why aren't they being arrested? If they were selling drugs, they would be arrested and no questions asked. If they just started shooting at people, they would be arrested. If they started raping people, they would be arrested. Or any other myriad of things that it's illegal, they would be arrested. Why is there an exception for this? Democrats, Republicans are doing nothing. It's just a bunch of virtue signaling nonsense trash. And then what about these people who are coming in illegally? We don't know anything about them. You know, it's like this guy in the blue shirt with this little girl. We don't know if that's his daughter. We don't know if this is just some stranger's little kid that he's got and he's part of some smuggling thing. We have no idea. Maybe he's a part of a gang because he's a direct gang member, or maybe what he's doing is bringing in something illegally to help support his family and he's just loosely associated with some gang. We don't know. You know why? Because they're illegal. They haven't been vetted or anything. And who knows where they're going to end up. And then what? Then what happens to these people? You think they've learned English? How are they going to get a job? How are they going to be able to do anything? What's going to happen is that they're going to get on welfare. They're going to have these benefits. Tim Pool likes to say this saying that's an old Chinese proverb. People think it's a Christian one because it's about fish and Christ was a fisherman, but it's not. It's a Chinese proverb. If you teach a man if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, then he can eat for a lifetime. And it's a metaphor. It means that you can either do for somebody one time or forever, or you can teach them so then they can do it for themselves. This is the exact thing that we do with children. We do not continue to tie their shoes forever. We teach them so they can do it themselves. To clean their room, fix their meals, to handle their laundry. The older they get, the more they do. But not with this. We're going to treat them like children, which, by the way, is what we do with everyone who is on welfare, because that is a system of enabling instead of a system of productivity. We just give them money. It's like that participation trophy nonsense. Oh, you get a trophy for participating. It's like, how is that realistic? No, you're going to break up with boyfriends and girlfriends. You're going to have people die in your life. Nobody lives forever. People are going to get sick. They're going to get injured. And you're not going to get participation trophies for that. You need to learn to get up and to do for yourself. That whenever these bad things happen, that you don't fall apart because you didn't get a trophy. That you know how to be somebody that can be counted on. That whenever somebody gets hurt or injured, you know what to do. That if you don't get a job, well, you keep looking. That whenever you put in an application for a job, you don't send out just one. You send out a whole bunch. But that's not what we do. It's like, how many applications do they have to send out so that they can stay on benefits? Just a few. Oh, you sent some out. Okay, well, guess there's nothing else that we can do. It's like, no, there's a lot. But that's the requirement, is just send out some applications and you got denied? I've known people who've had this happen where their businesses, they own the business, and people will come in and say, hey, I need this so I can get unemployment. And some of these fools actually do it for them. And it's because whenever they come in and they say that, everybody knows immediately these people are not interested in working at all. So even if they gave them the job, they wouldn't take it. They don't want that. They didn't come in there for that. They are telling you they just want the green light that they came in and they applied the application and got denied. It's ridiculous. They should have to put in a whole lot of applications. It should be extremely time consuming. Even if they've done it to the same place a dozen times, it's like, well, do it 100 more. And you keep doing it until you get a job. And you should do hundreds every single day, or as many as you can possibly do in your area. It doesn't matter what the situation is, you apply. You don't get to pick and choose. If they need help and they're willing to take you, it's their choice. It's stupid. What are these people going to do? Do these look like that they're qualified to work at a bank? To teach? To do IT? To work in the medical field? What are they going to do? What, farm? They're not going to do that. There's very few farming jobs out there. You want to know why? Because like with all my uncles, they have tractors and combines. I did that whenever I was a little kid. I mean little, like 8 years old. Because it's just driving back and forth, up and down. So boring. They don't have to hire anybody special for it. They don't need these people for anything. And then we hear... So this one, just so that you know, this is from Timcast, and the title is Footage Shows Immigrants Walked Through Security Gate into Waiting Border Patrol Van. You know why? Because walls work. You know what these people weren't willing to do? To go all the way out in the middle of nowhere and hope that they'd be able to find their way somewhere before they ran out of food and water. It's just like, why do you have a fence around your backyard? Why have walls at your home and doors and windows? Because it doesn't keep people out who really want to get in, but it does make it harder. It's not going to be perfect. There's no such thing. Man, so FYI, if you didn't know, I live in Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered law enforcement to begin arresting migrants for trespassing. What? What the hell are you talking about? This is ridiculous. How about getting to the real root of the problem, and that is arresting these officers for trafficking human beings? Because that's exactly what they're doing. They are not here legally. So what the hell is this crap? Okay, well then, even if this is the case, then why don't you go here and arrest these people because they're here illegally trespassing? Or the best thing is that all of them, the immigrants and the officers. But these officers right here, it's like, this isn't in their job description. This is not, they are literally breaking the laws. Why is this guy complacent? So there's no repercussions. Same thing with these officials. There's no repercussions for even Joe Biden. It's like, why not? What other job is there where you just get to do whatever the hell you want to do whenever you get that job? It doesn't matter who you are or what you've done. If you're a politician and you got elected into your office, you don't get to ignore the laws. You have to abide by them like everyone else, because that politician is still an American citizen and they are not above and beyond the law. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's some stupid cop who thinks that he can just go into a federal building armed. It's like, no, you can't. This is a federal building. There are no guns allowed. And I did a video about that, where it was some deputy who did it, and the security officer at that federal building was the one who got arrested. You know why? Part of it is because people are stupid. You know why? Because we have a bunch of fake news, we have a bunch of lies, we have a bunch of just horrible information. Part of it is that anybody can say anything. You can get online and you can start a Twitter account, a YouTube channel, you can vlog, tweet, post, all that crap. Doesn't matter. There's no preference for people who are actual experts versus people who aren't. There's very little in that regard. And so you hear something, here's something that I have a real problem too with, is these lobbyists, these people, these activists who say, well, we're part of BLM and we represent Black Lives Matter. And then there are black people who come out and say, no, you do not represent me. They're not politicians. These lobbyists, these activists are not politicians. They don't represent anybody. You know why? Because nobody put them there. Let me clear this up a little bit. Senator Ted Cruz is a senator because there was an election and people voted for him and he won that seat. And you can point to specific places in Texas that voted for him and said, yes, he represents us. That's not the case with these organizations like Black Lives Matter. Who voted them into office? Who do they represent? Nobody. They're just a bunch of people who got together and decided, let's do this. It's like Black Lives Matter. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, Captain Obvious. That's not the problem. The problem are these poor values that these people have, where they don't want to do anything. They just want to sit around and do nothing. They don't want to better themselves. They don't want to work. They don't want to be productive. They don't want to do anything. They just want to eat and have sex and get into whatever trouble that they can and try not to get caught. And if they do, they laugh about it. I've known people like this. I knew of this one lady. Her son got caught. Got put in juvie. She came and got him out and they laughed. It was all fun and games, saying how stupid it was. It's ridiculous. They didn't care. Wasn't anything to them. It was just part of life. And all they were ever going to do with themselves was play the system. And who pays for it? We do. The answer is not just let these people stay on the streets. The answer is if they cannot get it together, then they're going to be nothing but victims for people to prey upon if they're on the streets. If they can't hold down a job and have a place to stay and manage food, clothing, and shelter, kind of the basics. The answer is not leave them on the streets. People who are mentally incapable of taking care of themselves, we used to take care of all of them. There's three big groups, maybe some smaller ones, but three big ones are children, senior citizens in cognitive decline, and the mentally impaired. Children have orphanages and foster care and adoption centers and all these things to help them because nobody's confused. Unless if you just have no contact with kids at all, and you have to be dumb as trash to not understand just how dumb kids are. As they get older, of course, most of them will do better and they'll be fine. Senior citizens in cognitive decline. It's like, yeah, it happens, their memory starts to fade. They get Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever, and it happens. And we have retirement community centers for these people. And for people who are mentally disabled, who were kind of within a normal, reasonable adult age, we used to have mental hospitals all over the place. And we still have a few of them. But we need them for all these people who are homeless. They get victimized constantly. And they should go in a place that's kind of like a jail in a way, in that they should not be allowed to leave on their own. Because they can't take care of themselves. And so they should be in something that they can't leave, and that's about as prison-like as it needs to be. But the rest of it should resemble more of a nursing home, filled with other people who are like them. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder for them to be victims of something, surrounded by staff who are there to help deal with them. I don't understand why this is so hard. Is it really that complicated? It doesn't seem like that to me. It seems blatantly obvious. Putting these people out on the street should be illegal. It should be illegal to be homeless. That park is not their home. That underpass is not their home. They should not be using drugs. They should not be getting drunk. So what do? How do you prevent this? How do you prevent people from taking advantage of it like people do with welfare today? Because people who are in cognitive decline, who are mentally incapable, they have the attitudes of a child, the disposition of children. And they like games and toys. And that's the way you set the place up. You do not set that place up as if there's a competent adult that lives there, because it's not. So you put up bright colors and rainbows and unicorns and fill it with toys. It's not going to be some kind of slick, stylish GQ place. Has a little bar or something like that, and you invite everyone over for drinks and a big flat screen TV and this really tripped out sound system and computer. No. You're gonna have a TV, a small one. Not too small. It could be decent size. And a PlayStation. And Pokemon and cartoons and absolutely ridiculous Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny. Something that any adult would look at and say, this is horrifying. Don't get to drink alcohol. Don't get to smoke cigarettes. Don't get to do any of that stuff. No adult activities for children or childlike behavior. Oh man. Can't drink, can't do any of these things? It's like, yeah. And the more that we put on there, the more we can discourage people from taking advantage of it. But what if you get in there and you don't belong in there? Maybe you were just like really down on your luck. Well, to get out of it, you don't have to go to before a committee to deal with it. What you would do is, well, here's a test. Here's a test of just what the average person goes through on a daily basis. And it's like, how many things is that? It's a lot. How many things do you do each and every single day? All these little things that you do. Well, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I go shower and brush my teeth and put on clean clothes and do all this stuff. Okay, well, not only do they have to show that they can do this, but they have to answer these questions. It's like, okay, well, what do you do first? And just all of this stuff. And so it doesn't take a committee to review it. It's like they don't have to go before a committee and ask people. It's like, no, it's like this is all clear in black and white. These are the things that you do. These are the questions that you have to answer, and they either get them right or they don't. They either do them or they don't. So if you do get put in there by accident, because nothing's perfect, well, okay, well, here's your way out. You say you don't belong in here? Great. These are the things that the average person does. So if you can't even do this, and this is like the minimum. We're not talking about being able to fix a 5-course meal. It's like, no, I would get up in the morning and I'd get a bowl of cereal. We're not talking about ironing your clothes. No, I just threw them in the washer and cleaned them and then slapped them on. Okay, that's fine. That works. Why can't Governor Abbott do anything about this? Or, I guess the question is, why doesn't he? He's the governor of Texas. He's one of the most powerful men in the United States because he's the governor of Texas. He's a governor of only one of 50 states and of one of the largest, most powerful states in the U.S. at that. This man is competent enough that he became governor of Texas. Did it just all stop right there? Or does he think that, there aren't any people who are interested in this? I know that these Texas cities and counties along the border have stopped voting Democrat. A lot of them have, and they're voting Republican now. Because this stuff is human trafficking. That they see these little girls, these little kids, and they come in alone. They'll come in sometimes with some adults, and because they're not family, they get abandoned. Or they'll get trafficked across, and they go both ways. They'll be found later in some kind of prostitution ring. It's because the people who go for this, they just say a bunch of little platitudes, and they don't know what the hell it is that they're talking about. That's why whenever you bring this up, they tell you to just shut up, and they yell at you. And it's like, you yelling louder is not a point, and it doesn't make you right. I'm tired of these lies and this manipulation, and especially of the politicians and these law enforcement officers not doing their jobs. Because that's what they're all doing, because this is 100% illegal. That officer should be arrested. His badge should be taken, and his gun, and he should never be allowed to work with law enforcement again. There's plenty of other jobs out there. You screwed yourself. I don't feel sorry for you. You didn't do your job. You were engaged in human trafficking. And this is part of the reason why I do these videos too, is because all these other people like Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro or whoever, they don't call it out for what it is. They don't ever say, this is human trafficking. I don't care who's doing it, whether if it's gangs or if it's the government. It is illegal. If I were to do this, they would arrest me and say, you're doing human trafficking. If you were to do this, same thing. I'm tired of the privilege that these people have for breaking the law and all this other stuff. So if you've understood this and you agree, you're not some weirdo moron out there, then give this video a thumbs up, like it, because I'm going to do something about it and I need your help. And yeah, a little FYI, I did a big long video yesterday about the importance of sleep. I bought some sleeping curtains, or not, blackout shades, and some other things, and a little later today I'm going to make a video about that. So if you too are wanting to improve your life, and sleep is definitely one of them, just because of simple math. That video yesterday made it clear that you need 8 hours of sleep. It was extremely clear, and it was scary, kind of all the bad, horrible things. And it wasn't little stuff. It wasn't like, oh, you're just going to be a little groggy. It's like there were some serious health problems that also came with that. Lots of them. You spend a third of your life sleeping, if not more, because as children we sleep a lot more than just 8 hours, and again as senior citizens we sleep more than 8 hours. So if you spend so much time doing it, wouldn't that be worth doing it right? And so it's things like keeping your room cool, keeping it dark and quiet, and when should you start cooling down your place, turning off lights and all that. And so we go into great detail. It starts off with the first part of the video talking about kind of all the bad effects. Then the second part gets into the things that you can do, and then at the end it's really specific as some of the things that I'm doing. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. 27 minutes. We'll catch you again later. Thanks for watching. Bye.